So the research is in that the traditional marketing funnel has been destroyed. It's blown up, it's been replaced with some nuanced updates. So if you are thinking about how you're going to market people through a funnel, there's some new ways to think about this. Now, the first thing is, I don't really like the word funnel in the first place. The word funnel kind of implies people are pushed against their will, and that they've basically moved through a rigid structure, and that rigid structure is kind of like making them avoid other options, and they just get funneled down. Now, I understand the marketing funnel is a common piece of language that all marketers use and salespeople use, so I'm going to still keep using the word funnel just simply because it's common in the marketing world as a term that we all use. But just know that I'm not comfortable with the word funnel. I much prefer things like journeys or experiences or ramping up desire as opposed to funneling people through a rigid structure. But I'm going to use a funnel, and we're going to talk about how it's changed and what you can do to improve your marketing. Okay, so the new top of funnel is basically content. People are discovering you on social media, and they're discovering you through a few key things that you should know about. The first thing is called the 7-11 formula. 7-11-4 is 7 hours, 11 interactions, and 4 platforms. And essentially, when people discover you in these different ways, they're registering that you exist and they're getting to know you, like you, and trust you. A couple of rules that I think you should follow, or pretend that these exist because they're very useful rules and they are actually based on data, is the rule that people see you for the first time when they see you for the 11th time within 90 days. So in order for someone to discover you, they need to see you 11 times, and those 11 times need to be within 90 days. So for example, if someone's just scrolling through their feed, for whatever reason, they just don't remember you if they see you once or twice every 90 days. However, if they see you 11 times within 90 days, they start to go, who is that person? I know their name now, I know their face now. I'm starting to recognize that person. They're showing up as familiar within my feed. So the magic number is 11, and it's within 90 days. So if you were to post once a month, on LinkedIn, chance is that people won't actually ever remember you because you're not actually showing up enough for them to remember. If you were to post every single day, it would take less than 2 weeks for someone to actually clock you. If they saw all of those posts, they'd start to go, hey, who's that person who keeps showing up in my feed? So we need a volume, we need a minimum effective dose for someone to actually remember you. And I want you to work with the idea that that's 11 times within 90 days. So how are you going to do that? Regular posting. You need to be posting on social media every day. You need to do short form video. You need to be doing written posts. You need to do images and carousels and all that sort of stuff, and really just get the content out there so that people have the opportunity to see you 11 times within 90 days. How do people then trust you? Well, it's normally between 2 and 7 hours worth of exposure to your work. So if people see you 11 times, they go, oh, that person exists. And then they might want to have a piece of long form content. So they might want to watch a long video, they might want to listen to an audiobook, they might want to read a book, they might want to read a report, they might want to have a look at some of your signature content that's a little bit longer than your short content. Maybe you put an article on LinkedIn that's 500 to 1500 words. All of that is trust building content. So that's got some depth to it. So we're looking at the short form, which are those little posts and updates to get discovered, and then the long form for trust building. So think about top of funnel as short form into long form. So maybe short form videos into long form video, or short form posts into a longer post, right? So that's all that kind of like discovery and early stage trust. If you want to speed this along, you can also do third-party collaborations. So appearing on somebody else's podcast or appearing on somebody else's YouTube channel creates something called trust transference. Trust transference is that if somebody trusts person A and person A introduces person B, then the trust is transferred from person A onto person B. So for example, when I go on to Diary of a CEO, everyone has spent lots of time with Stephen Bartlett, and people go, oh, if you are picked by Stephen Bartlett to be on the show, then I'll trust you faster than if I had have just seen you otherwise. So that's called trust transference. This is where you're leveraging the trust and relationships that a third party has built. So you can pioneer these, you can reach out to people who would be good collaborators. You can get onto other people's podcasts, you can get onto other people's channels, you can do social media collaborations together. So these third-party collaborations, they get to leverage your trusted network, you get to leverage their trusted network, everyone's a winner. So essentially, these are the key ideas that you've got for top of funnel. Google's research paper called Decoding the Decision, or Understanding the Messy Middle, is around this middle of funnel. And essentially what it used to be is a series of landing pages where you would send people from ads to a landing page. They would have a traditional standard lead magnet that they would have to opt into or miss out. Now, people now do not have any fear whatsoever of missing out. They're totally cool with missing out. They assume that they'll bump into you again online if it's relevant. and they'll just click off of a landing page if they feel that they're being funneled or pressured. So in which case they engage in something called the messy middle. The messy middle is the ability to bounce around the internet and experience you in different ways. So there might be an e-commerce store where they can look at your products. There might be an online assessment where people can take an assessment. There might be some educational content where people can opt in for education. There might be an event that people can register for. There might be a replay of an event that happened previously that people can register and watch the replay. There's all these different things that people can engage with. I want you to think about this as like a playground. It's a playground of opportunities that people can go on the slides or the swings, or they can go on the monkey bars. There's different things for them to engage with, and they can just go and engage with all of those things, and they kind of all loosely relate to each other and they all loosely connect, but I'm not feeling like I'm funneled. I'm feeling like I have multiple things to engage with. I can check you out in multiple ways, as much or as little as I like, while I'm going through the messy middle campaign. So what's actually happening is people are discovering you on third-party social media platforms. They're getting a little bit of short form, a little bit of long form, third-party collaborations. They're bouncing down into your assets, your digital properties. They're engaging with that. They're bouncing back up to social media, bouncing back down to the things that you've created for them to do. And they're going through this messy middle process here. This is top of funnel and middle of funnel. This is what's replacing it. So for me at the moment, I'm getting hundreds of thousands of people who are discovering me for the first time on social media at the moment. That's through lots of content. That translates into tens of thousands of people who are hitting landing pages and doing different things. We've got webinar replays, mini courses, online assessments, all of that stuff that people can do. And then we go down to this part here, which is traditionally called bottom of funnel. And essentially we're looking for curated live one-to-ones or one-to-manys. So this is where something happens that's live. So essentially it could be a one-to-one diagnostic call. It could be a one-to-one strategy call if someone's highly qualified, or it could be a one-to-many live workshop. That is where something has happened where people are actually making the commitment to be live in a synchronous environment, whether it's one-to-one or one-to-many. Typically even one-to-many might be as many as 100 people. So it's still fairly intimate. It's not a big scalable solution. It's something that is quite targeted, quite focused, and people have to make a commitment to be there live. So these are the most effective one-to-one or one-to-many solutions. You could do like a webinar, you could do a Zoom call, you could do a physical meetup, physical event, you could have a sales call or a sales meeting, depending on what it is. You could have a private dining experience, a dinner party. All of those things are the things that happen right before someone's about to make a sale, right before they're about to buy. So here we are, we've bought a product or a service, and that typically is preceded by a one-to-one or a one-to-many live synchronous experience. So these are the things that are working the best at the moment with the new funnel. It's not ads into landing pages, into lead magnets, into special offer to buy now or else. That is behind us. It's a lot more about top of funnel content, mid-funnel, messy middle things to engage with, bottom of funnel, live synchronous experiences that are one-to-one or one-to-many, and then the purchase that comes after that. So I hope that helps you to think about your marketing. I wonder what you could put into the messy middle. One of the things that you definitely want to do is have a few key things that people can engage with in this messy middle so that they can stay engaged and then meet you and discuss what they want to do and then buy from you. Okay, if you're enjoying that, please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. What did you get out of this particular video? Give this channel a like. It all helps the channel to grow, and it notifies you when we've got new video content. Also, I'm going to be running a little workshop about ScoreApp. It's coming up in the next month, and we're going to go through exactly how to set up a campaign. I'm going to share with you the latest thinking on how to do that. There'll be a registration link in the description below. If you want to join me for a live workshop, if you want to come and do one of these one-to-many little live workshops in a synchronous environment, then come and join me for one of those. I look forward to seeing you soon.